In the beginning, there was a total absence of distance, no matter to move, no light to see, and no time to measure the silence. It was a state of absolute non-existence. This stillness was broken by a single vibration. It was the first event in history. With that one microscopic pulse, the void was no longer empty. It had a past and a future. The vibration moved outward, carrying potential energy into a space that had never known motion. It was the first stirring of a universe that was beginning to wake up. This was not an explosion. It was the quiet preparation of an infinite canvas, waiting for the first stroke of a brush. Physics arrived as a force of hunger. As this black hole draws starlight into its center, we see that darkness is not merely an absence of light. It is the active pull of gravity, anchoring the newborn universe in place. Space expanded as a reaction to this weight. It became a crucible where elements were forced into contact, creating a landscape defined by collision and pressure. Out of this friction, the first structures emerged. Clouds of gas collapsed under their own weight to ignite the stars, while orbiting giants formed from the debris of these new suns. This massive, violent architecture suggests a specific intent. A stage this immense was not built to remain empty. Eventually, a new element entered the stage: consciousness. A single ship drifting in the deep, looking back at the scale of the furnace that created it. We began to broadcast. We sent our mathematics and our music into the unknown, waiting for a signal to return. But the silence remained absolute. When you look into a distance that never ends, the mind begins to feel the weight of its own insignificance. We are a brief flicker of heat in a cold, eternal room. We realize the universe is subject to entropy. Every star we see is a battery slowly running out of power, marching toward a final, dark decay. This isolation forces a choice. If the physical world is indifferent to our presence, we have to look for a reason to exist that the physical world cannot provide. This map shows that the movement of stars is not random. When we look past the dust, we see a geometric blueprint, a set of mathematical vectors that dictate where every atom must go. These lines reveal a predetermined path. They suggest that the history of a galaxy is a script that has already been written into the laws of physics. This discovery was a catalyst for war. When we realized our lives were following a set of unchangeable equations, we divided. Some saw it as a divine plan, others saw it as a prison. Conflict erupted over the meaning of this knowledge. It became a war between those who wanted to follow the blueprint and those who wanted to tear it down. Entire worlds were dismantled in this struggle. As this planet crumbles into dust, we see the cost of trying to master a truth that is larger than our own survival. But this friction was necessary. You cannot forge a soul in a state of peace. It requires the heat of an impossible choice. Physical structures fail, bodies decay, but the consciousness that observed the war does not vanish. It remains part of the record of the universe. We are part of a symbiotic cycle. The carbon in our bones was forged in the same stars that our souls now try to understand. We are the universe looking back at itself. As these clouds of gas shift into this familiar shape, the perspective changes. We aren't just looking at the cosmos. Something within the cosmos is looking at us. We are the eyes of the universe. We are the mechanism it uses to feel its own scale and wonder at its own existence. All timelines eventually converge. Every star, every thought, and every memory must return to the source of that first vibration. This supernova is a reset. The universe does not just die, it recalibrates. It clears the canvas to begin the cycle again. If this cycle repeats with such mathematical precision, it cannot be an accident. It is the signature of an architect who built the dark specifically to house the light. The silence was never empty. It was a sanctuary. And he said, "It is good."